All right, here we go, guys. We are back on. This is Friday, 420. Eamonn. Oh man, stretching for the Friday morning show. Down the final stretch here for this week. What's how you been, man? Haven't talked to you in a while.
I'm smoking on my crypto on my Friday 420 here. I'm waking up and I'm trying to if maybe we can't start the show off today with a bit of sense of humor.
Good. Let's do that.
Let's get into let's take a different approach to the old sports market in the crypto world.
Let's do that because I like football folies and what's happening funny in the crypto and football world.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, we were obviously chatting about this. I'm kind of wondering, if there's some ways that we can look at the sports sector and figure out who could be the ambassador for sport and crypto, right? I find it interesting, this whole model of, kind of everybody needs an ambassador now for every ICO, right? They have their advisors, which some of them are just ambassadors, right? Some of these guys don't contribute to the project.
No.
Your ICO bench guys, right? Some do, some don't. And then you have in the sports world, you're getting a lot of ambassadors. Well, he's not an advisor; he's an ambassador, right?
Ambassador.
Like the Joe Theismann we talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're brand ambassadors. You have this in every industry, right? So it made me think of the Jerry Maguire line with Cuban Gooding Jr. You remember that scene?
Yes. Let's watch that right now. If you're at home.
Okay.
Let's see what that has to do with Quan, right?
That's right. Quan is the concept.
Quan. That's your word?
Hell yeah, that's my word. Some dudes might have the coin, but they'll never have the Quan.
What is...
It means love, respect, community, and the dollars too, the entire package, the Quan. Great word.
It is a great word, right?
Great word.
Some might have the coin.
The coin.
But, not everybody has the Quan, right? So we use this at Your Sports as our actual point system. Because the word Quan just kind of, I don't know, it has a ring to it, and we're not ICOing right now, but we are setting ourselves up for the point, right? And,
yes.
So it's like this whole concept of, right, it's more than just the dollars, right? And that's the crypto world. Like it's like the Quan represents like blockchain and crypto, and crypto just represents the coin, right? But like when you add blockchain to it, it's like that's the Quan, man.
That is the Quan. That is.
You got to be a part of the movement. You got to be a part of the blockchain movement, man. It's not just about investing, man.
Yeah, it's not just about the price of crypto. It's the motor behind it, the Quan behind it.
That's right. So I mean, we laugh, but so it got me thinking. So I did some research. I think I sent you a note on it. That somebody back in December had taken all the athletes' salaries, right? And said, okay, here's what LeBron James' salary is in the real world, and here's what his Bitcoin salary is. So LeBron's salary at the time was $33,285,000.
Yep.
And his Bitcoin salary at the time, which we know has changed, was $1,814. Tom Brady's salary was $14 million, and his Bitcoin salary was $763. Bryce Harper was $21 million, and his Bitcoin salary is $1,178. Aaron Rodgers is $20 million and $1,106. Right? Serena Williams, $8 million, $436 in Bitcoin salary.
$436.
Yeah. So
she's gonna have to go on food stamps soon.
Sidney Crosby, $8 million, 474 Bitcoin, right? So it was just kind of a funny thing they were doing, right? And But what it got me thinking about is, like, who's your ambassador, right? Like, okay, we have all these guys. You know, you have everybody kind of becoming ambassadors. But who should be, like, the Cuba Gooding Jr. for all of crypto and sport?
Man, that's a tough question.
Who should that be? I say we use history. I say we use history as well. We don't just say current day.
Okay.
Who's that enigmatic character that's kind of outside the realm? I mean, obviously Richard Sherman's an easy one because he's involved in the realm, and there's other athletes joining. But, like, who should be the rep? Who should rep crypto for sports everywhere? Is it Charles Barkley because he's, you know, a little off the cuff and he's whatever? Is it Deion Sanders? You know,
I like Deion. I like Deion. I like anybody who was a former Cowboy. So.
Well, of course, yeah, you're biased. You're biased. Well, then maybe it should be Michael Irvin, although he might spend all his crypto in one night. If you know what I mean?
Yes. And wake up, not know where it went.
No, he's a good guy. I worked with him at ESPN for a while, but yeah, no. So, like, let's see. You know, who would be a great? I mean, there's a good joke that Ricky Williams, the old Saints and Dolphins running back, should be it because he. I mean, the marijuana market's obviously getting big here in the ICO structure. And,
yes, it is.
He's known for a few things in his day. One of which is wanting to smoke weed just as much as playing football.
They tend to frown on that.
Yeah, I don't know why it's getting legal, right? But so yeah, I don't know. I'm wondering who that ultimate represent. I mean, you could obviously say LeBron James or one of the big names, but the commercial guys don't really work, right? You know, they don't fit crypto yet.
No, they don't. You know, we need more people like Richard Sherman out there spreading the gospel to these athletes.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he's the current potential best ambassador because he cares and he's invested and he's very smart, but he's not afraid to take risk and he understands business and I kind of feel like he's the guy. But I'm wondering if in history. You know, like I always think in music that like Elvis or, somebody would, who would be getting involved in these kinds of things back in the day. And who's that, who's that commercial, non-commercial person that's
Babe Ruth.
Side, he drank constantly. He was always he did whatever he wanted.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
DiMaggio's too clean cut.
Yeah.
Who was always edgy? Bonds. Bonds didn't really give a shit what the world thought of him. He did whatever he wanted. Barry Bonds.
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose. Oh, there
Pete Rose.
Go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Talking about somebody who likes to gamble.
Yeah, baseball's definitely Pete Rose. There's no question. Ricky Henderson to me would be a great representative because he's all about Ricky. He's just a great brand himself. And he would sell the crypto. Do you know what I mean? He would go and sell it. No, you got to get into this.
Yeah.
Ricky's invested. Ricky's invested. You should invest.
Iverson would have probably got a Bitcoin tattoo.
Iverson would be a good shout. Or Rasheed Wallace. He would yell at you and make you invest. Because Rasheed was very progressive. He got a tattoo of a brand. He branded himself.
Oh, he did.
Paid some serious dough. I think he was one of the first athletes to sell a space on his body. That's progressive stuff there. That's crypto-like, right? I mean, that's entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to get a tattoo anyway. I'm on TV every day.
Let's do it.
Why not charge it?
Yeah. You could get find somebody just put ICO tattoos on them and just have them lasered off after a couple of months and stick another one on there.
All right, well, I vote for Deion, but I think right now we have to go Richard Sherman because out of respect.
Yeah, I like him. Clean guy, smart guy, obviously. So
yeah, he's a good representative. Then so Sherman's NFL. We're going Pete Rose with baseball. NBA, like everybody, NBA is too clean cut nowadays. Jordan would be the obvious, right? He's a gambler. I mean, I know he's a big name and he's commercial, but quietly he's still the biggest gambler ever in the league history, right?
All right.
So I don't know.
In the shadows, though, he didn't stick his hat out too much lately. So.
Well, that's the deal, right? That's why he's a good rep. Like, he's quietly sitting on $1 billion. That's what you do. There's a lot of dudes in China doing that right now in this market. Quietly trying to figure out where they can put their Bitcoin right now.
Yeah, well, you definitely don't want to go to Mexico. Apparently, one of the biggest billionaires in crypto was found dead in Mexico a couple of days ago.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
So,
brutal.
I don't know what that's all about.
Okay.
I haven't read a whole lot about that, but
well, have you seen? You want to talk about controversy? Have you seen this whole PR stunt that the German ICO did yesterday or 2 days ago, where he 50 million raised, disappeared off to the sunset, posted on Twitter, "Thanks guys, I'm out." I don't even want to give him the free press, of naming the name, but SaveDroid was the ICO, right? I mean, it's a brilliant strategy. I'm only disappointed because it should have been some young upstart 5 million raised that could get that kind of publicity. This guy got worldwide publicity. He already raised 50 million. Now everybody knows his company, but he didn't need it.
No, he definitely didn't.
I mean, a lesson for the crypto market, he said, right?
A lesson.
Teaching us all. Thanks for the lesson. Must be nice. He was sitting on a beach, I'm sure, when he took that photo.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably less about the publicity and more that he just wanted a 2 days break to sit on the beach.
Yeah, well, that lifestyle, so. Man. We also have some more stuff with speaking of football. And of course, you would send me something with a cowboy.
Yeah, I had to. I mean, I know it's a little older, and some of these things are a little older, but a lot of people don't know this stuff has happened. Right?
I didn't know it happened, so.
Yeah, Darren McFadden, the Dallas Cowboy at the time. I don't know if he's with the Cowboys right now.
It says that he before he retired. Apparently, he retired. I didn't know this either. Obviously, I follow the Cowboys closely.
Yeah, but I think he just retired. This was only 2 months ago, 3 months ago, right? So. Yeah. He basically had a fraudulent investment, issue with his business manager, and this happens unfortunately a lot. This is why there's a lot of athletes gun shy, not just obviously crypto, but investing in anything, because they get bilked all the time. They're busy playing football. They don't have time to look over. They trust their business partners, their handlers, whatever you want to call them. They trust these people. They're partners, right? And they're agents. They're partners in crime. And they, these guys are working out and playing ball every day. They don't have time to look over all this. And then they retire. And it turns out the guy's been, investing poorly. Fine, that happens to anybody. But a lot of times there's shadiness involved. And randomly, the guy that he's suing is named Michael Vick. No relation to the football player Michael Vick.
Yeah.
Which is weird. But, yeah, so I guess this guy mishandled a lot of his money throughout his career, a large portion, like $15 million.
How do you miss that? How do you go 15 million? I mean, I get freaked out when I lose $15. So,
well, but I mean, it's not about they bury the way it happens. They don't tell you it's happened. I mean, they control your finances. You trust people, and then apparently $3 million of it was a Bitcoin business venture, and it was like $800 at the time, and so he missed out on a potential $237 million return. Right, if you do the math of what the lawsuit says. Now, that's a little probably, I mean, it depends on what the price of Bitcoin is the day of the
that's if you sold it at its height, yeah.
Right, but regardless, this is the problem with it is it highlights the real challenge for mass adoption in the athlete circles for crypto, and this is part of the reason why, at SportVest, one of the projects we're working on, we have a foundation because we're going to help bring nonprofits, athletes to blockchain and help them run. This is a way for them to get involved in the market and kind of you invest in a sports fund and you can mitigate your risk, come into the the investment market of crypto softly, tiptoe in, and not really kind of, go all in and have as much risk. You can learn your way in. But, we have to create these entry points for people that are affluent that get bilked all the time outside of the crypto market, much less a market that's known for that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these guys, they're bringing in friends and family that they had before they were famous, and they want to keep them, they want to keep them as friends and stuff, and they probably don't have the best education when it comes to financing, finances, and obviously no one has a great education in crypto and what you're supposed to do with it. I wouldn't think in the sports arena, but I think they need to it's business, not friendsness.
Yeah, no, sure. Well, and so I mean, when we talk about the NFL as well, I mean, there's a lot of different structures to this, right? These players, like you say, they surround themselves with people the best they can. Some are trusting, their childhood friends, and the crypto market is foreign to so many people. But it's starting to change, right? I mean, we saw that at the Super Bowl, a fan used Bitcoin to buy up some tickets. It was like 19 or 20 grand, back at the Super Bowl. So,
wow.
That's good, right? All of these things subtly move towards like mainstream knowledge, understanding, exploration. The mainstream media is not always helping us right now, but I believe strongly that crypto and sport, I use the term symbiotic, even though people disagree with me all the time, because they both do the same things. They don't care about language barriers. They don't care about culture barriers. They break new ground, and they unite people and bring people together.
Yeah, it does. And I've said this a few times that when I'm going to these crypto events, everyone that I meet is just super nice. I haven't met anybody that came off as an ass or a jackass or anything, but everybody had been super nice, super friendly, and very forthcoming with whatever technology or information that they have regarding crypto or their technology, blockchain, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about moving the market forward, right? And one of the best ways to do that is to have high-profile names like Richard Sherman come in.
Uh-oh, we lost him. We lost Eamonn. That's the wonder and miracle of technology and cell phones. Let's try to get him back on here. Hold on. Coming back on. And it's ringing. There we go.
Hey there.
Hey, I think we lost you, but we're still live, though.
Yeah, strange. Yeah, don't know what happened there.
Okay. Does this ever happen on ESPN?
Yeah, well, when we first started using Skype for calls, it happened all the time.
Did it?
I don't know whose idea that was. No, you lose signals all the time. There's people playing with satellites, and you're like, wait a minute, somebody. Well, actually, the worst thing that would happen is like the only times I've had to fire people at ESPN was guys hitting the wrong buttons. We'd be live with an NBA game, and all of a sudden, like some random show would pop up on the screen because somebody hit the wrong button.
Yeah.
So that's happened a few times. There was a big, massive goal in England in like 1984, one of the most famous goals of all time. I don't know what year. That was missed because somebody had hit the wrong button and fallen asleep.
Oh man.
These things happen sometimes. I think there was an NFL game years ago as well where like the final game-winning touchdown was missed because they switched out to a movie. And I think it was 70s or 80s. And they switched out to a movie in the middle. So I was probably mid-sentence rambling to myself about Mark Cuban. I don't know if I'd even gotten started
I hadn't even got to Mark Cuban yet. I was about to ask you about that, but go ahead.
Well, yeah. I mean, we talked about, kind of the mainstream helping, right?
Yes.
And the mainstream kind of helping the crypto market. Mark Cuban's a big name. I mean, a lot of people outside of sport knows him. He's the billionaire owner of the Dallas Mavericks, but he also has been on Shark Tank a lot, and he was known for his he rose to fame with his original .com bubble investment periods, right? So he has announced publicly that they're going to accept Bitcoin.
The Mavericks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how are they accepting Bitcoin? Is this at the gate, or what are they doing?
Well, I think he would say that it would be possible to buy tickets next season.
Okay. All right.
So we will be able to accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, possibly some other currencies that's to be determined. Obviously, he's this dude's worth $3 billion, right? So he's not afraid to take some risks, and he's invested in the crypto market himself. he did caution others about buying Bitcoin.
Yes.
When he made this announcement
Caution
back last
millennials.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, if you're a true adventurer and you really want to throw the Hail Mary, you might take 10% of your savings and chuck in Bitcoin or Ethereum. But you've got to pretend you've lost your money, is what he had said at the time. So this was, it was when Bitcoin was, around 19, 20,000. But yeah, I mean, the guy's smart. I mean, he it's probably at that stage when he originally announced it a while back, he probably was just doing it for the PR.
Yeah.
But,
have you heard anything lately about this? I know it's kind of...
Well, no, all the plans, I've done some digging, and I've heard from a couple of guys that they're going to probably roll it out in some kind of micro phase and make sure that, there's no issues. I don't know if they're going to do all of their ticket system day one next year. They might do some special do some certain series that way or whatever. But, he was saying they might do it for the whole, ticket process. It'll just be part of the portal. It's not hard to set up the payment system. So, there's not a lot of risk for these guys.
I guess if it would be easy to buy it online, but if you're walking up to the ticket counter there for a game and you got 2,000 people behind you, you probably wouldn't want to whip out your
I don't have my Bitcoin with me. Well, I was at a big Tim Draper event here in San Mateo, where he predicted Bitcoin would hit 10,000 3 years ago, right by the time of end of 2017. So to celebrate his prediction and hawk his book, he was he held a big street. They closed off the street here, so we're halfway in between San Francisco City and Silicon Valley. And I happen to have my office is based here, so I just wandered into it. And, like a lot of people showed up, they had a concert, but they had these little chocolates. And all the chocolates were, just imagine coin chocolates back in the day, right?
Uh-huh.
And they were Bitcoin label, Ethereum label, right? It was actually pretty, smart. And so my son has a photo of him with a Bitcoin chocolate, and, he's actually biting into Bitcoin. So, that's what they should do. If you come up to the gate, you need to pay in chocolate Bitcoin.
Yeah.
At a Dallas Mavericks game. Yeah, I don't know how you can quickly transfer while you're queuing in line. I think there might be some wallet problems if you try to pay at the gate. But,
and I get a feeling there might.
But if they figure that out first, right? People will talk about them for years, right? So it's not that hard. It's not rocket science to integrate that into your payment system. The POS, market is, I'm sure, well into this. So, I don't think there's going to be many problems with working that out. But it's good. It's really good to have a guy like Cuban with his profile. I don't like the way he cautions it. Obviously, he's got to be careful with his brand, so he can't say he's a diehard crypto guy. He's got to, kind of soften the blow, which is not good for us. But, it's a step. At least he's talking about it, and he's accepting it. That's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, it is. He's obviously, with the exposure that he has on Shark Tank. I wonder if he's ever talked about it on Shark Tank. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Well, look, I mean, there's all kinds of things happening that are hurting and helping the market. I'm sure there's consternation today because yesterday Andreessen Horowitz, right, the big firm in the Valley, was talking to the SEC and trying to look, find some exemptions, and that everybody's starting to figure out ways to make this work mainstream and maybe remove some of the volatility. Half the market's going to hate that because they're like, that's the antithesis of what this is about. So it's just the way of the world when you have something that's new. And I mean, somebody did a great post on LinkedIn yesterday. That was like, what did he say? He explained, he's like, let's all get a piece of paper and let's put it's Bruce Bates. I follow him on LinkedIn. If you want to follow somebody about crypto, this guy Bruce Bates on LinkedIn is great to follow.
All right.
But he said something effective. Let's all get together and get a piece of paper and write a 1 on it, and then call it a currency. And then let's have another piece of paper say that's valid, and then now you have fiat currency. I mean, obviously it took somebody responds like, wow, there's laws and, there's all these other things. And he's like, great, more pieces of paper. He's just, but, look, the market says it has value. It has value, right? You can then add, he's like, one of the guys was like, well, back in 1776, there's history now. There's reasons, right? And all of this. But, he's like, dude, it's a piece of paper, right?
It is. Yeah. And whoever makes the first one, and they make a copy of that, and a copy of that, and a copy of that, and now you've got a little, these guys. But then there's the guys that are making counterfeits, and so this prevents counterfeiting, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But
well, listen. Yeah, I mean, it's been fun. I think we need to crack into some specific ICOs at some point here, and I'd love to know maybe from the audience a little bit what they want to know about sports and crypto. If we should be talking about the individual ICOs that are going on or the currencies, there's only so many hitting the market, and I've got a couple people that we got to get on to talk about some of these specifics.
Well, what's going on in your little tech company?
Yeah. Well, I've got a couple things moving. We're building. I was joking earlier about Quan and your sports, where our micro payment system is what we're integrating smart contracts into, and blockchain eventually, could turn that into a full currency and tokenize it. But we're building tools and fun things for people to create content and connect via sports. In there, and your sports is kind of rebuilding right now. And,
yeah.
There's the current platform you can see, but yeah, I mean, I'm really trying to connect with as many people as possible. I think maybe the next show we'll have the CEO from Globotalent on. Over in Spain, and
I think that's going to be Monday, right?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. That'll be exciting. Get to talk to him, and I think I've started reaching out to some athletes. I'm going to try and get Richard Sherman or somebody else to come on and chat as well. And let's try and start getting some more guests here. But we'd love to hear from other people we'll do a lot of that. But, this is market-wide stuff. This is what I usually do. But I'm happy to dig into some of the specific currencies. If you have an audience that's like, hey, we're traders here, we want to know stuff. So,
yes.
If you get any notes from the audience, I know last time there were questions, obviously from me about ESPN and some broader topics as well. And I like to keep it broad, but I'm happy to dig in and kind of bring on. I've got some other people that do trading all the time, and maybe we bring on a trading analysis. I've got a good few tech heads, former Google guy that's building something that's really helpful for the blockchain community in general. So when he's a little further along, he's former Google, he's a brilliant guy. I think he'll be a great guest to talk about kind of how the scalability problems of Ethereum and all those things. And then another guy, Rick Manolis, he's a former MIT, PhD from MIT, I guess I should say, excuse me. And you spent 10 years there. You probably know a few things about technology. And so he knows e-commerce, and he's doing some really innovative things at his own company, but he's also playing in this space a little bit. And, he researches blockchain for an hour, and he knows more than I've learned in my 2 years of researching. So, we'll get him on at some point, probably a few weeks. He's a busy guy. We'll try and get him on in late April, early May or something. But, start lining up some guests so it's not just me and you droning on. And,
that's all right, though. I like to hear the sound of your voice, man. You're great.
Yeah,
velvety
you're
smooth,
the only one anyway.
I don't know if you knew, but last week we got a sponsor on for a few episodes, mybookie.ag, and they're in one of the first online gambling sites that take crypto, and they take Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin.
Okay.
And I think this is obviously going to be the wave of the future, where these online betting, bookies start taking crypto. Have you heard of any other ones?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of these guys that are starting to. I mean, I think that one of the challenges for the market is kind of the obvious nature that gambling is a black space in the United States. I mean, really, all of the ones that take it will help solidify the NBA's case to, make gambling legal, right? Because, people in, Europe look at us like we're prudes, and realistically, like, why are we not taxing this anyway, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we should be taxing this, right? This is a massive boost for the economy. I understand the health concerns and all of those, so there needs to be, but there's ways. It's like, look, I would much rather people drink on weed than drink and drive, right?
Yes.
I mean, I would much rather that. I'd much rather somebody go 3 miles an hour in front of me than veer me off the road. So,
yes.
there are things about the world that maybe get better when things are legal, and things that get worse. But, there needs to be more attention on the health side of gambling and supporting people that have real, genuine problems. The more money that you allow to flow through those systems and you can tax, the more that we can support those programs. I know that some people would say, yeah, that's an idealistic view. But there's a lot of opportunity to have it be a good thing for society.
Yeah. And
companies like this should be accepting all currencies. Why wouldn't they, right? I mean,
of course.
It just makes sense. But we don't want the gambling market to lead all of crypto and sport. That's why we're trying to have a balanced approach here.
Of course, yeah.
Let's get other companies in, because then there's more people to gamble as well, right?
Yeah. And, hopefully, soon we'll be able to pay our rent with it. We'll be able to pay our car payments, utilities. Sure. I see that pretty soon down the future. By the way, we're going to be having our own ICO, Crypto the WonderDog. We'll be tokenizing Crypto the WonderDog here really soon on an upcoming episode. Our symbol is going to be CTWD. I just ran into a cat a few nights ago in Beverly Hills that actually does this, and it said it's not rocket science that you can actually do this for us, like on the fly.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, it's not hard. I'm going through the process as an advisor many times over, right? So, the tokenization process is what the dog has always needed, right? To be truly representative of the market.
It's not going to be worth a damn.
The podcast needs to exist in its own right.
It does, and we're gonna be just tossing those out left and right, willy nilly, just throwing them here and there. If you want some of the Crypto the WonderDog tokens, let us know.
But I mean, the problem here is none of the other companies are really branding their token well enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, they all have their name, but this might be the best brand ambassador that's been tokenized. I mean, an actual animated dog. We're gonna have to. What we should do is take all the initial raise,
yes, and
put aside a nice little chunk to develop like a super animated Crypto the WonderDog cartoon.
Yeah, we'll send it to Disney or Warner Brothers, and we'll have them.
That's it.
Yeah, have it hang out with either Bugs Bunny or Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is if the audience understands, if we raise enough token here, then we can go to players and say, hey, listen, right, we will pay you for appearances.
Hey, how would you like 1 million Crypto the WonderDog tokens, huh?
Yeah, just to come on and talk. We can get much better guests. We'll pretend we can't get any guests. That way, everybody pays us to have that opportunity. It'd be a nice crowd sale push, right? It's like, well, we might get Richard Sherman if you invest.
Hey, yeah, come on in, baby.
Yeah. No, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. Well, yeah, I'm excited for the dog to wear the crown officially.
Yes, it just makes sense. We have to do that. We have to be part of the game if we want to be talking about the game.
That's true.
My buddy Charlie wanted to be on the show today. I guess he wants to rap with you. He enjoys listening to our shows when we talk, and he's a financial guy, and he's always the voice of reason whenever I have him on with me. But he likes sports too.
Well, you need that.
Yeah,
you need that.
because I'm not very savvy when it comes to finance. But yeah, our next show, I'd love to have, in a future show. And our next show is going to be Monday with your buddy. But in a future show, we need to have the three of us, me, you, and Charlie, on. Let him pick your brain on some sports and crypto. So
maybe he can make me some money.
He's a smart guy when it comes to. Well, he's a CPA, so he knows how to tell you where you shouldn't be spending your money.
Yeah, exactly. That's sometimes much more important, right?
Yeah. Stop spending money on that.
But, well, listen, it's always fun.
Yes.
Let's. I'm going to work on trying to find some of these star athletes at some point. I think we gotta kick that up here in a little while. So, but yeah, I'd love to talk to him. That would be great.
Okay.
And, let's make sure that we keep building that Crypto Dog brand. You know.
Yes.
The WonderDog coin. I'm excited.
Yeah, it is. All right, I'll keep you updated. All right.
All right, sounds like a plan.
All right, Eamonn, great hanging with you again. I will be talking with you really soon.
All right, WonderDog. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. See ya.